Actually, my mother chose crack. I just happened to survive.
I'm sorry to hear that. I want to discuss the sign, though. You see these signs, right? Usually put up by overtly religious people who are trying to control other people's bodies through some form of religious text. Actually, through some form of legislation that's based on some form of religious text. Your mother chose life, right? When you see these signs that are usually in front of churches, but can be all over the place, they're on billboards or along the side of the road, so forth and so on. Usually the intent behind it, the message behind it is aren't you glad your mother didn't abort you? How could you support other people aborting their pregnancies? And, you know, for lack of a better way of putting it, you should be thankful to your mom. And those are people that think that they know what every person on this planet is going through. Listen, there are a bazillion men walking the earth that have the ability to produce help produce life that should never do it, right? They are far from anything you would ever want out of a parent. But just because you have a uterus doesn't mean you should be a mom either. My mother should have gotten an abortion. When my mother got pregnant with me, she was 16 years old. My father was in his late 20s. And two of my mother's brothers wanted to, this was back in the early 70s, so this is what you did. They wanted to drive her from Chicago to New York to get an abortion so that nobody in the Chicagoland area would know what happened. And the plan was they were going to drive her to New York and have the pregnancy with me aborted. And my grandparents put a stop to it. The best thing my mother could have ever done is gone through with that abortion. Now, that means that I'm not here. That means that I don't get a chance to know, meet, and share a life with my wife. It means that my kids and grandkids aren't here. I understand the ramifications of that. From my mother's standpoint and from my father's standpoint, the best thing the two of them could have done is gotten an abortion. Now, I am grateful for life every single day that I'm alive. I'm one of those people that, even though I might not show it, every single day that I'm breathing, it is one of the best days of my life because I had such a fucked up childhood and because I'm an atheist. So I don't believe that I'm going to live forever in some afterlife. I believe that I've got, 20 good years left if I'm lucky, and maybe I can squeeze 30, 35 more years out of my life. In other words, way fewer years ahead than I have behind, right? And so I enjoy the moments that I have with my wife and my kids, and I just enjoy being alive. Having said that, had my mother listened to my uncles and gone through with it, it would have saved me a shit ton of pain. It really would have. My mother beat the living dog shit out of me between the ages of 8 and 13. Didn't whoop me, didn't give me a spanking, beat the living shit out of me between the ages of 8 and 13. She was a mentally ill woman that was never diagnosed and should have been treated very early in life. She should have never had kids, and the kids that she had should have been taken away from her. So when you want to make a sign telling people that essentially, be thankful to your mom, keep in mind, not every mom is a mom that gets celebrated on Mother's Day.